Alright, this video is part 1 of the personal budget with Excel assignment. First thing I'll do is click down here to download this begin file, personal budget using Excel begin. Click on that, it downloads, and when you open it, it should look like this. If I scroll down, there's a total of 91 rows. The last data is in the 91st row. Now I'm going to open up my other Excel file to show you what the finished product will look like, and that way I can do a half screen here, and then we can I will go through and modify this to look like this, and that's what you're going to be doing. So here's the finished product, and what the finished product basically is a category here of monthly income coming in. Here's total monthly income, and then we have in the orange fields are all of the different expenses, monthly expenses, and then at the bottom here we have total monthly expenses. And so total monthly income minus total monthly expenses is the final number that we're looking for here, and then our budget will be completed. So let's get started here. First thing we did was we centered and merged from B through D. So I'm going to highlight from B, click on B, and highlight over to D, and then do a merge and center. Next thing, let's make this into a title. So we go to Cell Styles, and I'm going to make it a title, and it looks better if it's bolded, I think. Good. Next, monthly income. I'm going to highlight across, go back to Cell Styles. I think I'll choose Accent 6. I'm choosing green. You're welcome to choose other colors if you'd like. And then we have a total monthly income. Not sure why that's not typed in, but that's okay. We'll just type that in. And then we're going to highlight that one and do the same thing. Alright, now I'm going to do that with all of the orange ones here in just a minute. I'm going to pause the video and go through and do that, so I'll have you all do that on your own. You're going to go here and just make it a different color. The reason I just chose orange, but you want to have it a different color than the income because this is expenses. It's a different category. And notice that I chose a lighter orange for the subheadings within each. So I'm going to pause the video and do that here in just a second. But first I want to show you why do I have these dollar signs and blanks here. What I did was I formatted it with this accounting number format, and then when you type in a 0, hit enter, it puts a little dash in there, and that just means there's $0 in that category. Now I can just fill handle this down, so I have $0 in these to start with, and then I need to make a sum function here that will sum these. And it looks correct. I want those two boxes summed. I hit enter to accept it. And now when I click back on here, I can look in my formula bar to see behind the scenes, to see what the formula is behind that. If I click on these, I can see that it's just 0. If I double click, now I'm in edit mode. If I hit escape, it gets me out of edit mode and puts it back into just selection mode. If I double click, I'm in edit mode. I hit escape to get back out of that, or I can just hit enter to get out of it. But if you ever accidentally click and, like, let's say you have something highlighted here and now you click something else, notice it changed the formula. Then if I hit escape, it won't change. It'll say, oh no, put it back. And so now it's back to what it was. If you hit enter after while you're in the middle of that, let's say I accidentally click on something else, and I have this highlighted. Oops. I click. Now if I hit enter, it just put the wrong formula in there because it accepted it. So I'm going to undo that. I want it to be a sum of D4 and D5. Alright, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to, when I pause the video, you're going to do this. Go to Housing, and I'm going to choose a lighter orange, and then subtotal, the same light orange. And now I'm going to copy, Control C, fill, all of these are going to be 0, Control V, and then I'm going to put a sum function in there. And make sure, eyeball it to make sure it's correctly selecting the correct range. Hit enter, and now I can go back here and look D10 through D17. Good, it worked. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. When I come back, I'm going to have all of this finished just like it looks over here. Okay, I've finished with the orange. Now the bottom one here, I just need to make it the darker orange. Accent 2, and then this one's going to be a dark blue. Accent 1. Alright, there's one more thing you might have noticed, and see it's got this double underline with a single underline on top. That's known as a totals format. So I'm going to highlight this and show you how I got that. In accounting, double underline typically means it's a total. When the eyeball, when you see a double underline, you know it's a total, so it makes it easier on the eyes to recognize. Let's go back to cell styles and just click on this total, and now we have that fancy subtotal. So I'm going to show you something really fancy. We can highlight this, and we can double click on the formatting tool, Painter. If I just single click, it only lets me do it once. And when I let go, it's done, and I can't do it to the next one. Then I have to go click this again. But if I highlight something that I want that I want copied, the format copied, I can double click, and now it keeps this turned on until I turn it back off. So I can highlight this one, highlight this one. That's pretty fancy. So go ahead and do that. To each of your subtotals. Alright, now I have to turn it off because I'm finished. And there we go. Now it's starting to take shape and look just like this one. Okay, the only thing left now is to do the final formulas here at the bottom. And that would be this formula. Notice I don't have it in here, but it's going to be the sum of all of these subtotal of expenses. So I'll go over here, click on the cell that I want that formula to be in. First I'm going to format it, format this one as well. Okay, so I'm going to type in equals to tell Excel that I want. Here, I'm going to go ahead and maximize this and zoom in because I want you all to see this a little better. Let me zoom in. Equals. I'm telling Excel that I'm going to be performing a function. And then what I need to do is, I'm going to scroll way up quickly, click on this subtotal, and then a plus. So you can see D18 plus. And as I scroll down, I'm going to click on the next one. See that? Now it put D24, which is the next one. Hit the plus sign. And if you make a mistake, then just go back down to the bottom and start over. Click plus. Click plus. Oh, I forgot to put that subtotal. I'll go back and do that in just a minute. Plus, 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 plus. Now instead of hitting plus, I'm at the end, right up here, so you can see. So now I'm going to hit enter to say accept that formula. And now this has that long formula. And you can see, remember I missed one of my subtotals up here. So I need to go back, and it was this one. No worries, I can just do that. We're still good. That did not mess up this formula. We're okay. All right, good. Now this formula is pretty easy. We're just going to do an equals. Scroll all the way up. Click on your total monthly income. Okay, so it's D6. And then a minus sign. D6 minus, that would be all of our income minus all of our expenses. D6 minus D89. Now hit enter, and it accepts it. All right, we're ready for part 2. Save this. Make sure you save this to your OneDrive. And ready to go for part 2.